is the latest sensation, the man of the moment. We have Adarsh Gourav here. We have the white tiger here himself. Hi, Adarsh. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, Shilpa. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been about more than about 3 weeks since the film has come out. Tell me, how's the response been? I'm sure it's been overwhelming.
Yeah, the response has been phenomenal, I think. Um, I don't think anybody of us could anticipate what would happen when the film would come out. And yeah, I'm really overwhelmed and I'm so humbled by the response. And I'm really thankful for everybody who's seen it and has messaged us and reached out to us in some way.
Well, it's award season that's coming up. What are you hearing? Any big nominations coming in?
I don't know. I don't really keep a tab on these things. I mean, if anything happens, that's a bonus. But when you do a film, you don't really do it for the awards. It's just a consequence of what happens. So it'll be nice if we get nominated for something.
That's very diplomatic, Adarsh. Like, not at all like your character in the
Mm.
film, who
No, but
said
it's
the
the
most
truth.
scandalous things.
No, but it's the truth. It's the truth, honestly. And especially because when you're doing a film, you're so close to it, and you enjoy it as much as you can. And the director says that you're doing well, but you sometimes I would think that maybe he's just being encouraging, maybe he's just being nice. And then when this kind of a response, when you receive this kind of a response, it's great. It's overwhelming, but yeah, the point of awards has always been just I was having this conversation with Amin right after we finished filming, and at that point in time, of course, this was pre-COVID times, and we would discuss about how the film would go to different festivals, etc. And he told me that the point of any award is just so that you get to work with the kind of filmmakers that you always desired to. Because otherwise, I mean, of course, you get the recognition and all of that. People talk about you; it's great. But what it really is that it gives you that power to sort of interact with people you've grown up watching, and it gives you a chance to audition for things that they're writing and working on.
So you're still auditioning now?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right. Okay. I thought now the offers must be pouring in, no auditions. But I think you prefer staying grounded. And I think you're somebody who's in your interviews, I've seen you talk about the craft and how you like bettering it.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, there are all kinds of things. There are things that for which you don't have to audition, but also I'm just like, I mean, just because I've done well in one film doesn't mean that I'll be good in every part. So of course, a director has to see how I fit the part in what she's looking at. So it is important for me to audition, and it is important for her to see whether I fit the part or not. So it's
Have you
only
been
fair that
reaching out to filmmakers now after all the great reviews that have come in? Have you been putting out feelers to some filmmakers that you want to work with?
yeah, I have.
All right. Can you name some of the filmmakers that you do want to work with, that whose work you admire?
Well, within India, I really look up to in the Hindi film industry. I really look up to Anurag Sir, Anurag Kashyap, Vikramaditya Motwane, uh, Zoe Akhtar, Abhishek Chaubey, Vishal Bharadwaj, Vetri Maran in
Tamil.
Tamil, and a lot of filmmakers in Kerala as well. So I'm trying to learn some Tamil from my father, and hopefully once I learn some basics of that, I'll learn some basics of Malayalam as well. Yeah, I just don't want language to sort of become a barrier to the kind of films that I want to do. And
You
yeah,
don't
it's
want to be
important.
pigeonholed, basically,
No,
because of
no, no.
language.
I don't want to be compartmentalized because of
But
a
are any
language.
Hollywood offers coming in? Considering the White Tigers made such a big splash over there, are you getting any international offers?
Yeah, there's a couple of audition calls that I've had, and yeah, I'm just reading the script and preparing for it, and I'm hoping I give a good audition.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for you, for sure.
Yeah,
But along with the praise, there's always the other side of the coin, that's criticism. Any of
yeah.
the criticism that the film received, many of it was like it's a Westerner's gaze, it's an outsider's gaze. None of the criticism to do with you, from what I saw. But did any of the criticism personally affect you?
No, I mean I like reading criticism because, as you said, it's other side of the coin, and sometimes you don't think about certain things, and then people have like a unique perspective or a unique take on a scene or on the film as a whole, and it's interesting to read that. Yeah, yeah, but nothing that you should really get affected by because you know what you've done and you know what the film stands for. But it's also not of course Ramin is American, but he has Iranian roots, and his father basically migrated from Iran to America in the 60s. And Ramin himself went and spent time in America and in Iran. And more importantly, when the book was being written, Arvind and Ramin were batchmates in Columbia University. So even before the book came out, Ramin was sort of Arvind's bouncing board, like Ramin read
And
drafts
he
of White
dedicated the
Tiger.
book to him as well, right?
Yeah,
And
the
he's
book,
dedicated subsequent books as well to
yeah,
Ramin.
it's
Yeah.
dedicated to Ramin. Ramin is a very close friend of Arvind. So he knew about these stories from India and he knew about the book as a whole before any of us did. So, he had a very fair idea about what he was getting into. And even before we started shooting, a year before that, Ramin came to India, traveled extensively, met people personally, and walked on the roads. It's so important. He wasn't distanced from reality. He really made sure that he knew what he was getting into. And he made sure that, it's not, I don't think it's a Westerner's gaze per se. I mean, just because he's a Westerner doesn't mean it's a Westerner's gaze.
What do you feel about the criticism that, it's like a poverty tourism kind of film? What do you feel about that?
No, it's not really poverty tourism. It has both sides to it. It presents Balram's side of the story, which Balram is from the darkness, and he does come from an underprivileged side of India, and it also presents Ashok's and Pinky's side of the story, who are the more well of the tier one city kind of people, and it's important for us to see and recognize both these sides. I feel that when we live in India, honestly, I feel that a lot of times we get desensitized because we see these things on an everyday basis.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we sometimes we don't even register that, oh, this is happening around us, because we've just seen it all our lives. But for somebody like Rami, not for anybody, as you call it, a Westerner's gaze, they see something that we don't because we've gotten used to it. So,
Hmm.
but that doesn't mean it's poverty tourism or whatever. It is a reality, and it is also the reality that was depicted in Arvind's book, which is set in 2004 or five.
Yes,
India
it
has
was
made a
a
lot of,
Booker Prize then, of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
It's a
India,
very iconic book. Did you happen to read it before you did the audition? Like just
I
even
did,
before you knew about the film? Had you read it back then?
yeah, yeah. So it's set like 15 years ago. It's not a current story. Like India of 2021 is different from India of 2005. You know, we have made a lot of progress, and there is a lot of growth. There is a solid middle class that's there. But I did read White Tiger when I was 14 years old, coincidentally. um, Either my mom or my brother got the book home because I wasn't big into reading at that point, and my brother and my mom were, and I read it, and I was really amused by the book, and about
Yeah,
how
there's a lot
Balram.
of dark humor in it for
Yeah,
sure.
there's a lot of dark humor, and Balram looks at these people as animals, and he compares
Soft
like all
and all
these.
of that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like he has like the buffalo and the lamb and the
The
stock
bomb.
and all that. So it was very amusing because that's how even I looked at people. I still do. Like when I look at somebody, I instantly associate an animal or a bird with them. So yeah, I was really amused by it. But of course, I couldn't have known that someday a film would be made on it and I would audition for the part.
Well, what a journey you've had in 2010. Way back then, you played the younger Shah Rukh Khan in My Name is Khan. And about like 10, 11 years later, here you are playing the White Tiger. You've only had a few outings in the middle, in between. Are you looking at increasing the pace of work now?
I've actually been working consistently. It's just that I've played like smaller parts in films, so like people probably didn't register and didn't know. But I worked on a film called Banana in 2013 that sadly never released. I worked on Anurag Kashyap short, a bunch of other things, Rook, Mom, Leila, web series, Die Trying, and all of these things. But of course, in terms of scale, nothing was as big as White Tiger, which is why it's like it's being talked about the most. But I always wanted to keep myself busy as an actor, and I was doing ads as well. I was also doing voiceovers here and there. I was busy with my band. I was making music and all of that. But the idea is really to not. I mean, I possibly want to do like 2 films a year. Like if I can sustain by doing that, it'll be great. I just really want to focus on whatever I'm doing and milk, like juice it out completely. Like
Is there any kind of cinema you don't want to do?
no,
Like
nothing like
if
that.
you're about this kind of cinema, I definitely do not want to do anything of that sort.
No, I mean, unless I've done it, I wouldn't know that. So I,
Okay.
I want to really like try and do like all kinds of cinema there is.
All right, all right. That's really interesting. You said you had a band as well. Seemed oh, you have a guitar back in the background.
Yeah,
What other talents do we not know of?
yeah. Yeah, there's these two, I guess. I mean, uh, I do some animal impressions, but it's
Oh
not
yes,
something
I
that
do know your animal impressions. Your crow impression is very popular. But what are the other ones? I've heard the crow.
uh,
What else do we have?
I can do a dog, a cat, a goat, a
Can you do
pigeon.
a cat? Can I hear your cat?
Meow, 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 meow.
I have a cat. I'm wondering whether he's going to come running in.
Are you
No,
on
that didn't work
loudspeaker?
enough.
No,
Yeah,
the
but what
cat,
about
a
dog?
cat will usually like come in if you play a bird sound. Like when I do a
Oh,
crow or a pigeon, like like I have a cat in my house as well, so
huh.
he gets like really like worked up when he hears like a crow or a pigeon impression sometimes.
Wow. Okay. All right. So animal sounds. I'm sure that's high up on your resume, and all the filmmakers are watching out for that. But any films that you've signed on, what else can we catch you in the coming few months?
I just finished working on a short film with Varun Grover,
Hmm?
and yeah, that was great. We shot for 3 days. We just finished shooting like 3 days ago, and I'm reading a lot of things. I'm reading a lot of scripts, and I'm actually not allowed to talk about anything till the time the production house makes an announcement.
All
So
right.
yeah, like I'm sure they'll make an announcement soon, and then hopefully I can talk about it.
All right. I look forward to picking your brains when that announcement comes out,
Thanks.
and I'm sure big things are on their way. Thank you so much, Adarsh, for catching
Thank
up
you.
with me. It's been an
Thank you.
absolute pleasure. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Likewise.